Second consecutive season, Illinois will open the season in week 0. And also the second year for head coach Brett Bielema there with the program ahead the showdown against Wyoming. His group trying to improve from that 5-7 mark we saw last year. While the talent level on his team has been improved, you can say the same for everybody in that Big Ten conference as well. When it comes to the program over time, it has not been pretty the past 5 seasons there, not to mention hanging in the basement of that Big Ten West. However, there's a silver lining from last year. They were close to maybe an unexpected bowl bid, falling a little short there by one win. The team also had 4 losses decided by a touchdown or less. Senior college football writer Dennis Dodd checking in. A year 2 for him at the helm here. Dennis, are we expecting a little bit of the same, maybe a fall off, or maybe can they actually trend up in that West Division of the Big Ten for him?
Yeah, I think they're trending up, Brandon, but it's not like a rocket ship trending up. It's just, baby steps right now. They've got a plug-and-play quarterback in Tommy DeVito from Syracuse, whose best year was 3 years ago in 2019. He threw for 2,300 yards. Since then, injuries, bad play. He's only played in 14 games since then. But Illinois desperately needed a quarterback to come in and play for a year, and he's the guy. 5-7 last year, amazingly. And this is from a guy who used to cover Illinois. 10 straight losing seasons. I had to look that one up. I wasn't sure about that. But yeah, when you say trending up, that's about it. I don't think we're going to see an 8-4. I think we're going to see a struggle to get to 6-6 at the end. Last year, Brandon, they did beat Minnesota. They beat Penn State in that 9 overtime game. And they've got some pieces. Chase Brown with a 1,000-yard back. He kind of went back and forth. He'd do single digits, double digits, then triple digits, 223 against Penn State, back and forth. But, any team that's coached by this guy is going to run the ball. They're going to be physical. So you ought to look at that first.
Interesting that pans out there for him. When you look over at Nebraska, though, it's a different picture for a Scott Frost. I feel like he's been on the hot seat for almost 30 years, but last year just 3 wins. If we're looking at this, is this a fresh start or maybe a last chance for Frost there at his alma mater?
He's coaching for his job right out of the chute. Nebraska plays Northwestern, Brandon, in Dublin. How inconvenient is this? Nice trip. There's a lot of things you must see when you're in Dublin. The Guinness Brewery, Grafton Street, Temple Bar. But you don't want to go there and must win. And that's the case for Scott Frost right out of the chute against Northwestern. The advantage is that they're 13.5 point favorites. That may be the biggest line of the weekend. And it's a team they beat by 7 touchdowns last year during a horrendous 3-9 season. So if there's ever a team they can beat and get out quickly on, it should be Northwestern. But it's Northwestern. They punch up. We know that. Whenever they do that, Scott Frost is 2-2 against Northwestern in his 4 years. And as I mentioned, he's coaching for his job. With 2 weeks left in the season, he fired everybody on the offensive staff but one guy. They've got a new offensive coordinator in Mark Whipple, who's a veteran and brought some new ideas. But this is a program that just keeps shooting itself in the foot, Brandon. Special teams were the thing last year. There's an example, Michigan State. Okay, they're in a tight game at Michigan State. Do not punt to Jaden Reed. I repeat, do not punt to Jaden Reed. He's All-America returner for Michigan State. They punt to Jaden Reed, and he takes it to the house to tie the game with under 4 minutes to go, and they lose in overtime. It's that type of thing. Somebody looked it up in the offseason. It's the first time ever a team has lost 9 games all by single digits. I don't know if that means you're incredibly unlucky or you're incredibly bad. I'm not making fun. I just don't know. That's where Scott Frost is right now.
15 wins since he took over there in Nebraska, and as similar to Illinois, they've been at the bottom of the Big Ten Conference since he's been at the helm there. Elsewhere, Hawaii kind of opened their season. We'll open it up against Vandy. A program legend back in the 2004-2005 eras in Timmy Chang, now at the helm for the Rainbow Warriors. A little homecoming maybe, King, for him. Chances he's able to kind of lead Hawaii back to the national scene in the future at the helm now.
Yeah, this is really interesting. This is almost the South Pacific version of Scott Frost. Native son, Timmy Chang, beloved in the islands, still the all-time passing leader in NCAA football, over 17,000 yards. He had not been an offensive coordinator for 6 years, and that was at Jackson State. And that's not Deion Sanders' Jackson State. That was a long time ago. He was the receivers coach, Brandon, at Colorado State when Jay Norvell called the AD at Hawaii when they were looking for a coach and said, you might want to take a look at Timmy Chang. And the AD had not really considered him, but then, he did. So you're hiring a wide receivers coach to coach an FBS football team. That has not gone well before, but if anybody can do it, Timmy Chang can. He's a force of nature. He loves the islands. He once said, when I played with the entire state on my back. So there have been mass transfers since Todd Graham left. They've gotten a lot of guys to stay home. And if you can get a lot of Hawaii guys to stay home, you can have a pretty good team. As for the opener against Vandy, Vandy's going to try to hold the ball, and they're desperate for a win themselves in Clark Lee's second season.
By the way, Chang still holds records in FBS when it comes to plays of participation, pass attempts, and interceptions. So maybe a little bragging rights as he comes back home there with the Rainbow Warriors. As always, Dennis Dodd, appreciate your time breaking it all down. Don't forget, college football is back on CBS Sports Network. Week 0 coming at you. Austin Peay at Western Kentucky at 12 Eastern Time. Iowa State at UNLV at 3:30. Oh, it's Charlotte at FAU. Chris Hassel will be on the call there at 7. Then, of course, the game we just talked about there, Vandy taking a trip to Hawaii at 10:30 Eastern Time. All that going down on Saturday.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.